Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Thought I'd come on here. Gonna do a workout. So yeah. Welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. The weather's been really all over the place lately. Yesterday it pretty much didn't stop raining all day. Now today, look at it. Weather today, but that's gone cool though. But yeah, nice and warm with this jacket on. So yeah. All right, so welcome in and let's have a bit of a chat or something. I'm gonna go down to the park, do a bit of a workout. Hopefully the battery won't drain by then, but I'll try and get there quickly. So yeah. Everybody okay? Let's get the chat flowing, everybody. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Not hardly anybody seems to be watching these days, so some of my shorts still do alright, but don't seem to hardly get anyone in my lives. For like having 3,000 subs, you know, it's like, where are they all? I don't know, just disappointing really, isn't it? I don't know. Whatever, you know, just gotta deal with it, I suppose. But I'm gonna do a workout soon. Well, I'd say soon, it'll be about half an hour when I get to the place. But yeah, I've got 4 people in the house. Say hello if you're watching, please. Apparently 12 now. Hit that like button, everybody. Come on. Let's get the likes up. It helps with the algorithm, so you can just like, hello CC, how you doing? So I remember coming on the other day and you was pretty much the only one there, and I think one other person showed up for a bit, but then it's pretty boring with like the chat and stuff most of the time on here. So I don't know, but yeah, thank you for the like. So yeah, if you've seen the stuff with the Joe Hart thing, might take it out into the street actually and see how that goes. I might try filming actually and just so really been messing around with it, trying to practice a lot with it, and been improving a bit with it and stuff. So there's that butterfly on the ground or something. It's late where I am, I can't stay too long, sorry, it's okay. So we were talking the other day about, I think it was the whole thing of, you know, not putting too much pressure on yourself really, and just, you know, these goals that you have, are they actually your goals, or are they someone else's goals that they projected onto you, sort of thing. You have to work out what it is. Are they truly your goals, or are they society's expectations of you to be a certain way? Because if it's the latter, then it's time that you found other goals in life that are aligned with your passions and your purpose. So that's give it 20 minutes. Okay. So yeah, so you should be aligning with your passions and your purpose. Otherwise, you're not going to feel fulfilled. You could be earning 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever, but you'll feel like there's something missing because you're spending so many of your hours of your day just doing something you don't enjoy, just to come home and then, just kind of have a bit of time where you can enjoy yourself, but then you have to do it again the next day, and it's just the cycle keeps repeating, and a lot of people feel trapped. That's why a lot of people end up staying in jobs that they hate. They just don't know any other way, so they just kind of are afraid of uncertainty and change. I just need to sort my lace out, but people are afraid of change. People are afraid, people tend to want to stay in their comfort zone. I made a video about this the other day on getting out of your comfort zone, but this is one of the things that people do, is that they get stuck in a rut. They're afraid of change in their life, so they're like, oh, you should do this, you should, work your way up the career ladder and all that, when that's not even viable for most people nowadays anyway. Unless you got lucky, then it's unlikely that you're going to be able to climb up the career ladder. I mean, I would just say it's probably best to just do your own thing. Find a way to, I don't know, some kind of, whatever it is that you can build up. Like it could be some kind of talent that you have, something that you're into that you can make money from, but a lot of people don't even know that. They don't know what they can do, or they just don't believe in themselves, and it's just a job at the end of the day. Yeah, but it's like, think of like how many hours of your day that is taken up. If we say the average person sleeps like 7 to 8 hours a day, that's a third of their life gone already. So you're only actually, it's a productive time. You're working, it's like, 5 out of those days you're working 8 hours, which is half of that day gone. Then even in the other 8 hours, you're probably doing other things, being busy with other things. So, how much of that time you actually living if you hate your job? If you're working, some people are not even just working the 40 hours, they're working 60, 70 hours a week. Then some people have commutes as well. They have to do, they could be spending 10 hours a week commuting. So, 6 hours per shift, I mean, that's a lot more manageable, I guess. You could say go from 9 till 3 or something. A lot of people talk about 4-day work week, but another one would be, having shorter work duration. Instead of going out for so long, and maybe you did it 5 days a week, but you just did, 4 hours a day or something, which would be a lot more, kind of about, because then you wouldn't be dreading just spending the whole day at work. You could just a few hours and then come home, because then you'd have a lot more time to work on other things. I think it's like they try and keep you trapped by, because if you're having to work so many hours, then who's even got time and energy to do a side hustle? That's the thing as well. A lot of people, especially depending on what type of job they have, they're going to struggle with that. So I guess the solution to that would be try to get rid of any unnecessary things out of your life that require you to work those long hours if you can. Because then if you can get it down to, say, working 30 hours a week, then you might have more time to work on something else that you're into. So you've got more time for the things you actually enjoy, and maybe you can start a side hustle. Then it becomes something bigger that can actually become your main hustle. So yeah, walking and hiking would be good, but yeah, I mean, I guess if you like, if someone's into riding a bike, they could work as, say, like Uber Eats or something, I don't know, but I mean, I guess it gets you fit, I suppose. There's certain jobs that could be good in that sense, that like labouring jobs, you could get fit while doing that. So it saves you having to like go to the gym and try and get fit outside of those work hours. So it could be beneficial in that sense. You're doing something that's getting you fit, but then it's like you're working 8 hours and you probably won't have much energy to do anything else after that, though. A lot of these labourers, once they're done with it, they just want to go to bed or just lay down. So I think like there needs to be a balance where it's like people do a certain amount, but then they still have the energy and the time to do the things they actually enjoy. Because then it's like it comes to weekend and they just, they just crash out and they just kind of, you can't be bothered in a lot of cases. So like, what kind of life is that? Where not only are you having to work all these hours, but then even when it gets to the weekend when you have time off, you're either crashed out and you're tired, or you like catch up on chores that you didn't get to do during the week. So, it's like people just like, oh, that's just life. Well, why should we have to accept that as life? That's, whoever accepts that is just kind of, I don't know, they're just a kind of, I don't know what you call it really. It's just, oh, thank you, CC. Oh, wow. All right, I'm Mohammed. But it's like people accepting bare minimum in life. I guess it's just certain people have very low standards, I think is what I'm trying to say. People have very low standards for the life. I guess it depends on your perspective on things. You could say, well, you could be living in, a war zone or a famine and, pollution and whatever. You could be living in all sorts of horrible situations. I mean, I get that, but at the same time, you have still got these issues. You've got greedy billionaires and politicians who are, creaming off the top. They are getting their slice of the pie and leaving everybody else with crumbs. Oh, thank you, CC. So, look, who's Lord Miles? So what I'm saying is that we should, as a society, not be accepting that, because it's not right, is it really? Surely that society can do better than accept all these conditions. You see, most people just seem to be miserable. They're not even getting paid well for their work now. It used to be a lot better. Like, for example, back in the 1980s, you could get a house for about 40 grand. Compare that to today, it's nearly 300,000. So it's gone up by about 7x the average house price in the UK since then. However, the wages haven't gone up anywhere near that. They might have doubled, if that, since then. I don't know exactly, but I'm just saying that wages are generally quite stagnant versus the prices. It's like inflation is still pretty high now. It's like, I don't know exactly the percentage, but things are still getting more expensive, and they're going about recovering the economy, whatever, but it's just BS. It's just ever since 2020, things have gone to crap. You could say even since 2008, that was really the big event that really messed up the economy for a lot of people. The house prices and all sorts of things got affected, and he had a very bad childhood, but travels the world and was captured by the Taliban and became friends with them. He is also autistic. Oh, really? Yeah. I was watching that there was this thing of a guy who became homeless at 15, and he was doing these IRL streams and stuff, and he was doing some crazy stuff, but he ended up in a mental hospital I think he was like he had some like autism symptoms or something, and he was also into like taking substances. I would say right now that autism and substances, even things like alcohol, they do not go hand in hand most of the time anyway. It usually makes symptoms even worse and more like, so any feelings you have of say like anxieties and whether it be anger, rage, things like that, you're probably going to end up even worse when taking these things. Like they might think it makes them feel better, but actually can actually make a lot of their symptoms worse and turn them more what's the word, kind of neurotic. It's like the things that they have already, alcohol and drugs, that they oftentimes will heighten those feelings, of depression or heightened feelings of anxiety. Might make you feel good in the moment, but then it can actually make you worse in the long run. So these are like dangerous things, alcohol, drugs, these are. So I've been looking into a thing on, what is it called? Like the gut microbiome, yeah? Like how when we eat certain foods, like, when we, for example, like whole grains or vegetables, fruit, nuts, seeds, and like things like that, then we're getting all these sort of different kinds of fiber, and it feeds the gut microbiome. Different types of bacteria feed on different types of fiber, so it's important that we have a variety of different kinds of food that to give you different types of fiber. And they say that for some reason the diversity of gut microbiome is actually important, they found, for longevity and health, but also there's a mental health and brain health sort of like aspect to it as well, that they find that there might actually be some benefits to people with, say, like autism, ADHD and things like that. Because I remember, like, I don't know who was saying this, but like Robert F. Kennedy or RFK Jr., I don't know if you noticed his voice seemed to have gotten a little bit better. So I was wondering if that's something to do with that he started adding these probiotics in or something. Because it said that like certain foods and stuff, they can actually improve brain health. So I'm wondering if people with autistic symptoms and things like that can actually have improved symptoms by eating a better diet. So yeah, inflammation I've heard about, but it's also the thing with the gut-brain connection, and how when we're feeding the gut the right stuff, that we're actually feeding our brain, because they say that there's more signals going from the gut to the brain than the brain to the gut. That's why they call it a second brain, because so many signals are constantly going from the gut to the brain. So we have this sort of constant feedback loop of it, and when the gut's sending these, kind of like, I don't know exactly, but there's a thing called short chain fatty acid, and that's something that the gut produces, or the gut bacteria produce it. So that could be one of the things that cause it. But yeah, it does apparently decrease inflammation. It's probably due to like improving the integrity of the stomach lining and things like that, preventing things like leaky gut, preventing things leaking out into the intestines. Yeah, ceremonial cacao, that sounds quite fancy. Or have you heard about this thing on vitamin D and how they reckon it might actually reverse telomere shortening or something? I don't know how true it all is, but there's a lot of people talking about mega dosing on vitamin D to repair telomeres or something like that. I don't know how true it is, but there's conflicting data on it, as always. There never seems to be a lot of conclusive data on things a lot of the time. But there's been some stuff on creatine and its benefits as well on brain health. So maybe people with like autism should look into creatine as well, because creatine is actually in the brain as well as like the muscles and stuff. But they say that you need to take a certain amount. You might even need up to like 10 grams or so a day to really get the full benefits for the brain. Because they say there's this like spillover effect into the brain. So, once you take a certain amount, but there was some people saying that they're worried that it might cause stress on the kidneys or something, but I don't know. There's some conflicting stuff on that, but yeah, mega dose. I mean, it's just, some people were saying that taking a higher than recommended dose of vitamin D might have other benefits, like improving telomere length, because one of the main like hallmarks of aging is called telomere attrition, which means that the telomeres get shorter every time the cells divide. A bit of, it's like, if you ever, like these things you get on your, sometimes they come with these things like these tips, and they wear away eventually. That's what happens to your telomeres. Every time a cell divides, it can. That's probably why, like, so you got this thing called the Hayflick limit, which is your cells can only divide a certain amount of times before they become senescent, which means they become dead. So basically, what I'm saying is there is well, basically, it's like it accelerates aging the more that the cells keep dividing. So the thing is, they don't actually have, people talk about IGF-1 stuff. That's why they say having too much growth is not good, because that can speed up like cancers and stuff. It can make cells not function properly, and like it can end up causing immunosenescence and all sorts of problems, because the more of these kind of inactive cells, the more of the not properly functional cells, and the more it's going to just weaken your body. But what they say is that having too many senescent cells in your body is also not good. Just saying how like certain things like exercise can help to remove some of them by doing what's called apoptosis, which means programmed cell death. So getting rid of these senescent cells. I remember there was like a podcast on Joe Rogan about that a while ago, talking about these senescent cells, which are these kind of zombie cells, they call them. They're still there, but they're just not actually, there's no real benefit to the body. They're just kind of there, kind of thing. But yeah, fermented foods are also good for you, yeah. But I think eating probiotics are also important as well. Eating enough fiber, because it's like, if you're just relying on the fermented foods, that you might not necessarily get enough fiber from that. Well, having a lot of fiber has its own benefits and stuff. Eating a variety of different types of fiber, which is going to encourage a wide population of bacteria. So they say that like things like fermented food shouldn't be like a long-term goal. You should be, address your diet, because it's like, as long as you're feeding your gut microbiome the right stuff, then it keeps it thriving, because they need the prebiotics to keep living. And so whereas if you would have to just keep taking probiotics all the time. But if you're eating a high fiber diet, it's gonna like you're gonna be able to retain the bacteria basically doing that, and you're also going to get the other benefits like how fiber helps to clear crap out of your system. And yeah, anyway, I don't know, it's just like I said, I think probiotics are a bit overhyped, to be honest, unless you actually need them. If you've got, for example, if you've had like antibiotics or something like that, you could use it as a way to repopulate your gut microbiome. But like I said, dietary fiber is what I'd recommend in terms of, you know, like a long-term strategy to like for your health. But yeah, pickles, yeah, but like I said, if your diet's low in fiber, then you're not getting the full benefits, is what I'm saying. You're not getting, it's like you want probably to have, not saying you have to have super high fiber, but like try to incorporate some whole foods. Like keeping the skins on some of the foods, I think, is a good idea. Like for example, when you have potatoes, keep the skins on, because that's where most of the fiber is. That's going to help with, you know, it can help a lot of people with like getting rid of crap out of their body. The way to like detox things out of your colon and stuff. Because, you know, if we don't have that, then it makes it slower to get through. Oh really? Oh goodness, are you for real? Oh goodness. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's just, I mean, if it benefit you, that's great, but I'm just saying that, yeah, like, because there's a lot of people pushing things like carnivore diet and stuff, which is completely devoid of fiber. It's also devoid of a lot of other nutrients as well. And it doesn't even make sense from like an ancestral point of view. People going on about it being a primal diet, but it's like a lot of these people have no idea like what a true primal diet would have even looked like. So, but anyway, obviously everyone's different and stuff, and everyone's got their own genetics. But the point is that pushing a particular diet, I don't think is good. And maybe not everyone's, you know, gonna do well on high fiber, but I'm just talking about the general population. But yeah, because some people find that eating a lot of fiber can be, you know, difficult to like, because I find that I tend to be very regular, especially with the amount of food that I eat. So for some people that might be a bit uncomfortable and they don't want to feel like they need to go to the toilet all the time. It can be a bit embarrassing or something, but it's good to get stuff out of your body though. You know, we should be probably, you know, going for a number 2 probably like multiple times a day really. But yeah, most people probably don't even go like once a day. So yeah, so it's like if we're not even going for number 2 even once a day, then we've probably got a problem, because that stuff's staying in you there and it's putrefying if you don't let it out. Especially if you eat a lot of like rotten kinds of food and stuff that's just, yeah, it's just gonna like putrefy. So yeah, there's all these things that that can linger inside your colon. No wonder a lot of these people have colon cancer and stuff, because I think they find that a lot of people, because there's been this whole thing about a rise in colon cancer or something, and I think that it has partly due to the diet that the people are eating. Of course, it's not 100%. Some people are more, you know, like, what's the word, predisposed to it, but yeah, whole foods, yeah. Like some people are more predisposed to like colon or colorectal cancer, whatever it's called, than others. Like some people genetically more that way, but we have to just try and try to reduce that chance, really, of because we don't know, do we, necessarily? We don't know. You could look at your family and whatever, but you still won't know for certain which trait you've got. Like, do you have that, you know, genetic trait or whatever of which one of your parents you wouldn't, it's like playing Russian roulette, basically. Someone might be like, oh, but I don't have any of that in my family. Well, how do you know? Because especially if, like, some of them might not have necessarily lived long enough to even see the detrimental effects. So it's still be susceptible, but genetics can just exacerbate that risk, and you have to just kind of but like I said, we don't want to be playing Russian roulette. It's like we're only here for once at time, as far as we know. Why are people so kind of, you know, blasé about these sort of things? They just, I guess it's this whole attitude of I'm here for a good time, not a long time, or something like that. But the reality is that a lot of these people end up not having either, because they're just, their health ends up being so bad at a young age, and then going downhill very quickly. So they didn't even really have a chance to even have either of them in a lot of cases. So it's a very reckless mindset, I think, that really, all right, how old was she then? Like, so it's just one of those things where, like, but then people use that as a way to then use it as an excuse not to bother. It's like, oh, well, look, there's people who eat vegetables all the time and they get sick, well, therefore I'm not going to bother because it doesn't matter. But it's like, you know, we're talking about outliers there and whatever, and like, they're not necessarily like indicative of the general population. All right, so that's not that old then. Right. So there was like some genetic thing for lung issues, I guess. There's more like asthma and stuff like that, but there are ways actually of trying to improve that, like by, there was a thing called the Oxygen Advantage, it's a channel, and it kind of goes into the whole technique to like improve breathing, so that a lot of people ended up not relying on inhalers anymore after doing it, apparently. Some of them went into remission. Now, it's not always the case, but a lot of people have found that their asthma symptoms greatly improved, and some even become pretty much non-existent. So, hello Brian. Oh really? Yeah, I'm just going to work out soon. Unfortunately, you probably missed that then, but yeah, I'm going to do a bit of a park workout soon. Yeah, how we doing, everybody? Hope you're all having a great day. A lot of people will look at these like outliers and be like, oh well, look, that person has certain genetics, therefore, oh that means that, well, it's all genetic then, you know, but it's not necessarily, is it? You know, we should be trying to, because the thing is, it's like, if you say I had the bad genetics and then you could end up, you know, you do bad decisions in your life. Okay, well, you might have lived to 60, 70 with, you know, good lifestyle choices, but then live to 40 or 30 even with bad choices. So it's just reckless to then be like, oh well, I'm not going to bother because genetics are more important than the mindset people have. But I think they say it's something like 80% lifestyle and 20% genetics. There's this whole 80-20 rule that like people talk about, like Some people say that weight loss is 80% diet and 20% exercise. How would you even quantify that? Are you talking about in terms of calorie restriction and something, in terms of for every, say, like 1,000 calories restricted, or not calorie, as in calorie deficit, I'm talking, something like 200 calories from diet and from exercise and 800 from diet or something. I don't know, but hope everyone's well anyway. Eating once a day might only be good for certain people, because like for me, I couldn't do that. I'd be skinny as fuck. So I can't eat one time a day, because I just end up like trying to force a bunch of food down. I just wouldn't be able to do it. I've tried doing even 2 meals a day, and even that's not enough. So yeah, but I don't know. I guess if it helps people to stay in a good amount of calories, but for me it's like my goals and stuff, trying to build muscle and trying to put on weight, I have to do the opposite and eat a few times a day, because otherwise I'm just not going to be able to get the calories down. So a lot of people talk about the benefits of fasting, but there can also be like, outweighed by the benefits of exercise and things. So it's just well, you needed to lose weight, alright, fair enough. But for some people, like doing OMAD or intermittent fasting can be good as a way to like help to reduce calorie intake. So I think I was talking about this to someone the other day, that like, because what happens after about maybe 16 hours on a fast or something like that, I'm not exactly sure what time it happens, but your stomach starts to kind of shrink a bit. So what it means is if you can get through that period, then it can make it easier to adhere to the diet, because you're not going to be able to fill yourself up as much. Because your stomach is kind of shrunk a little bit. It's like your stomach expands when you eat, basically, and then it stays expanded for a while, but the longer that we go without eating, the more that's gonna the more it's gonna shrink, basically. So people might find that they're able to kind of, they struggle to overeat, is what I'm saying, like, because your stomach is shrunk after a while. And if they've gone 20 hours without eating, or 22 hours without eating, then the stomach's already gone down. So then they're not able to actually fill up that many calories in that one meal that they do eat. If you get what I'm saying. Convenient, yeah. But some people might find that they struggle with it because they can have hunger spikes, because the body's gone so long without food. A lot of people can actually find it difficult. Then they end up overeating. So it depends on each individual, really. But yeah. It's not for everyone, yeah, exactly. It's people have to kind of find what works for them, really. You have to just there's like this whole thing of like, they say horses for courses, pretty much. We have to just kind of do what's right for our life goals, and also everybody's different in terms of genetics and stuff. So let's say you've gone, for some people even 16 hours, it's like the body's like, oh shit, we need to eat. And then they have these hunger spikes, and they just can't keep it up, that sort of thing. Ones that, and I just started, I may not do it for long, what's that, the intermittent fat body of 1 meal a day thing. So intermittent fasting has to do with like feeding window or something, but it all comes down to what works for you. Some people might find that 16-8 is okay, but then doing one meal a day might be a bit too extreme. So, but I think a lot of it comes down to just trying to find foods that help you to stay in a caloric deficit, pretty much, like eating more whole foods and things like that. But we have to sometimes find the right balance of satiation and like, but we also need to make sure that it's palatable somewhat. Otherwise, we're going to struggle to maintain that. Yeah, all mad. It's like trying to find the balance of filling foods that, you know, are also, you know, taste good. Because you're going to struggle to maintain it if you, oh wow, someone doing some calisthenic stuff. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, well, the thing is, I've heard that seed oils are not necessarily that bad if you consume them in moderation. But if you're trying to lose weight, then yeah, they're not good because they add unnecessary calories. But if you're trying to put on weight, and then they might actually be useful in just adding a little bit of like, now I wouldn't say necessarily seed oils are the best to do that. Maybe olive oil would be better. But I don't think it's the end of the world if you have a little bit. I think some people like over exaggerate the bad or something and get a bit kind of but I think it comes down to like the dose is, what is it, it's the dose that causes the poison or something, dose that makes the poison, they say. And if you're eating enough omega-3, then it balances that out anyway. But anyway, but I think like, yeah, seed oils are not necessarily the best, but I think it's just I don't know. I think there's it comes down to like, you know, sort of the dose of it. Like for example, if say someone had say a gram of, you know, like seed oils in it, and then they would panic and they're like, oh no, it's got a bit of sunflower oil. It's like, well, okay, if it's a little bit, then I don't think you'd have to really worry too much about that. But then there's also people going about saturated fat and how that's not good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to believe, really. There's a lot of conflicting stuff saying about, you know, like things like butter and things like that, coconut oil, and how they're high in saturated fat and how it can increase cholesterol. So I don't know what to believe, really. It's just, there's so much information out there. There's a lot of confounding factors and stuff, and people with like their own vested interests and stuff. So like you got people with vested interests in, say, you know, kind of high carb diets, low carb diets, and there's just so many grifters out there on either side of things. And anyway, it's just yeah. Yeah. I should probably tap this off. It'll just make it a bit easier, won't it? Alright. Just
Yeah, sorry to have to repeatedly drive that.
yeah, hanging, I've heard, is good. It's a bit boring though, isn't it? I don't really like doing static kind of stuff, really. I just find it very boring, and I don't know, but anyway. I like more dynamic type of stuff, like jump squats and things like that. Really, I'm gonna do a few now actually. All right. Hi, Cass, it's Yo. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, there's just a lot of like, you know, armchair scientists out there as well. People acting like they know everything, when in reality they know F all. They're just a bunch of quacks a lot of the time. It's like when people find themselves a fitness channel and they don't even know what fitness even is. Like, they think of it as some kind of like body image when it's not. Fitness has to do with performance and in a few different disciplines and stuff. You know, it's like if you're someone who's like lifts heavy weights all the time, are you really fit? Like, what does rest day based on you having a rest day, you mean? It's like, if you can't run a mile without getting out of breath, can you really call yourself fit? You know? A lot of these influencers, a lot of them are on roids, and they like call themselves fitness channels. Just bullshit, you know? Health and fitness, my ass. It's like they're selling you an image, but I'm not saying that it's bad to look good and all that, but it's just, if that's all you focus on, then you're missing the point.
So yeah.
Anyway, what's everybody saying? I don't follow any fitness influencer, so that's good, because it's not, you know, like a lot of it's not true fitness, is it? It's just a bunch of people spouting their opinion.
Oh, is this all to come? Is that all? There's more, I just didn't know. Oh, okay, done. Just grab that. Yeah, that looks like someone opened the boot. That might be it.
So that's the body weight bicep curl. So you don't actually need weight to do the bicep curls, you just need your own body weight. So yeah, basically just doing that. Get on a bar like this and just like that.
We could definitely, sure we can give you a hand next week as well.
So yeah, those are the so body weight bicep curls. Yeah, deep squatting's good, yeah. Alright, we'll do a few deep pulses. So we're doing them slow, kind of do just like. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. There we go. So that's yeah. There's ways to like make the squats more challenging. There's even a thing called the horse stance. Have you ever tried that before? I'll show you what that looks like as well. It's called the horse stance. So we'll just you go wide like sort of this angle, and we're trying to keep our back upright while doing that. Just do this for a few seconds. Not really got the best thing, but that's the horse stance. Let's say you should like when you get into position, start off with your feet together. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's kind of like the way to get it set up, but I don't really bother with that. I kind of just have an idea, but yeah. You don't have to do a lot. Yeah, that's what I mean, because the problem with like regular just body weight, hang on, but regular like body weight squats is they're not challenging enough really to promote growth and strength. So there's ways of making it more difficult. So yeah. Right, so we're going to do some back. So we'll just use this. We'll go just straight like that. 1. We'll do a dead stop. 2. Dead stop. 3. Dead stop. So that's how you make those more challenging as well. You do the dead stop at the bottom. That's going to take out the energy that basically to rebound basically. Because when we're doing, for example, when we're doing push-ups, I've started to do the dead stop push-ups. They're a lot more effective because that kinetic energy, whatever, I think there's a thing called elastic recoil. When you get to the bottom and then you come back up, it gives you a bit of, you know, that kind of what they call stretch reflex or elastic recoil, whatever they call it, and it's it actually takes away from the challenge of it. So you might find that you're not getting that constant tension where you want it, but doing the dead stop variation helps to keep that time under tension. So yeah, so that's a tip that I've found. But yeah. Anyway, so I might do a few neutral grip pull-ups as well. Right, let's do that then. It's just not really the best camera angle, is it? So No, winter's coming soon. We're in the UK. We're in autumn now. Yeah, we're end of summer, beginning of autumn now. So yeah. But where are you from anyway? It's definitely not still really summer here. But the weather was horrible yesterday. Thank you for the 7 likes, everybody. Right, we'll do pistol squats next. Well, assisted pistol squats. Just going to use this. Give me a bit of assistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side now. 1, 2. All right. I can't do pull-ups, but there's a technique to it. Yeah, I should start off with either assisted pull-ups or banded pull-ups, or you can do negative pull-ups. Yeah, you can try those different variations to help work your way up to it. Also, losing weight, if you're trying to lose weight, that's also beneficial, as it comes down to strength to body weight ratio. So you want to keep that in mind as well, that when it comes to body weight exercises, excess body weight, especially excess body fat, is not ideal. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, that it should get better as you lose weight. Yeah, thank you, Fiery. It's been a while. How are you doing? I was just doing the assisted pistol squats, and yeah, trying a few pull-ups, but so negative pull-ups and stuff as well. So just try and then we're going to go again onto the bicep curls. So we're using this. Just curl your own body weight. Actually, I'm going to go on to the other one, make it a bit more challenging. So we're going to go here. I'm going to do so a good bicep exercise. Well, that's good, Fire. Yeah, it's just like I said, keep in mind that extra body fat will make pull-ups harder. So if you're struggling with it and you're overweight, then maybe consider trying to lean down a bit. You might find that a bit easier. But until then, maybe try banded pull-ups. And if that's still too much, try assisted pull-ups. So this is what I mean by assisted pull-ups. So what you can do is get a bar that's at the right height, and you're going to just go like this. Have your feet on the ground, and you're going to just like still using the same muscles, but we are just taking some of the weight off. Also, it helps with balance as well. Again, I could just do it reverse grip as well, targeting the biceps a little bit better. So doing this like that. So it's just an easier way to get into it, really. Yeah, banded pull-ups, but there's assisted pull-ups as well. Try and find a bar that's the right height. So for me, this bar is about the right height for it. So it comes up to about almost like to my neck. And yeah, so roughly that kind of height. If it comes up about that height, then it's probably a good one to do this kind of stuff. But you do the face pulls as well, kind of thing. Working the upper back. So it's going to be like traps, rhomboids, rear delts. You're going to work that doing that exercise. Chin-ups. Yeah, chin-ups can be good because it puts more emphasis on the biceps. But for some people, if they don't have good bicep development, it might not really improve it that much. But I could try, see if I can do any chin-ups on this thing. So let's just, yeah, let's have a go. But yeah, for pull-ups grip as well is a good one. So if you can get like monkey bars, doing them with neutral grip as well. Did a build up to pull-ups kind of. Did try to do a bit of assisted pull-ups a while ago, where I was doing like in the gym they had this like machine where you put like the thing inside it, and it's like, so I was struggling to do like a full rep of a pull-up. Also trying out with like chin-ups and things, just make it a little bit easier. So yeah, that's how I kind of built up to it a bit, using a platform to kind of put your feet on and then use it to kind of help give you a bit of a boost. But yeah, it's just to try and grease the groove kind of thing. Just focus on, low numbers of reps, but kind of just good quality reps. Making sure I'm actually like, so I can control the negative and things like that, and just focus on the time under tension and making sure I'm not just like doing a whole bunch of bad reps, because there's just no point in doing that. Let myself recover, then I can do good reps again, so I can get stronger and work on that sort of muscle memory and that kind of stuff. Yeah, quality over quantity. Yeah. So right, I'm just gonna do a few star jumps now. So 1, 2. Yeah. Right, next, so we're going to do something a bit different. So, I made a video on this actually, but oh, that one's a good one for the shoulders. I feel lazy, lol. No. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that before, but I figured it was actually like it's kind of like it's a bit of an easier version of the upside down pull up, because like a lot of people are going to struggle with the upside down pull up, and I can't really do it yet, but that way I can kind of do it because I've got somewhere to rest my feet, so it helps to not have too much balance issues and stuff. And yeah, so basically it can be considered as like the body weight equivalent of an upright row. So if you think of like if you say like doing an upright row with a barbell or something, and you're doing that kind of movement, you're doing the exact same movement, but it's like inverted. You're doing it upside down and when you're like this. It's the exact same movement pretty much. You just pulling your own body weight basically. So yeah, thank you. It's just one to try, but be careful with it, because make sure you don't slip, because you could have a bad accident. But you're basically doing the same thing as an upright row, but some say be careful with that as well. Make sure you're not causing any like shoulder impingement, because I've heard that exercise can be risky if you do it wrong. Just look into it and make sure you're not causing any damage. But yeah, it's a good one I think for like overall like shoulder development. But yeah, right, what shall we do next? Yeah, might do a few of the push-ups. I'll just do one. Alright. I kind of do it a bit random sometimes, but can't really think of many bodyweight exercises for shoulders except for push-ups. Pike push-ups, pseudo planche push-ups. They're good for like front delts mainly. Yeah, those are probably best ones I'd say for like. But one exercise I've been doing, side delts, it's not really the best to show it, but if you get a wall, do this, and you're actually pushing your own body weight, you're actually causing abduction in the shoulder. That's what causes the side delts to grow, is when you're creating abduction in your shoulders. So you think of that in terms of body weight, you're sort of like leant against a wall. Depending on how far out you put your feet, it's going to make it more challenging. So this is not really the best to do it. I need a wall or something, but do it against a wall. That's going to try different, you know, putting your feet out different distances from the wall. See what works for you. Burpees are good, yeah, but I don't really do them a lot because I find they can be a bit of a waste of time. Personally, if you're just trying to build muscle, they can be a good cardio, but I just find them just really like exhausting and just kind of just feels a bit kind of like I just don't need to put myself through that just to try and, like, if I want to do cardio, I'd rather just do cardio, if you know what I mean. I'd rather just go for a run or something if I want to do cardio. Personally, I just don't see the point in burpees, just doing a bunch of spamming and single reps of burpees. Like, I'll do 5 pumps and stuff like that, but I just don't see the point in 1 pump burpees. I just, because they're not keeping tension on the muscles, they're just kind of, it's kind of like one of those things that's trying to kind of be a well-rounded exercise, but isn't doing that well either. It's not probably the best cardio exercise, and it's not the best like strength and muscle building exercise either. So I personally am just not that into it. Push-ups against the wall is good for beginners because it decreases the resistance. Then you can move on to knee push-ups or incline push-ups as well. Some was saying that there isn't an in-between between the knee push-ups and the regular full push-ups. Well, actually there is. What you do, so you got the knee push-ups that look like this, and then you got the regular push-ups that look like this. Well, if you want to just do it a little bit easier, do it like that. Yeah? And as you want to get better, just, so that's to do with how you position your legs, and your knees, where your knees, if there's a bend in them, that's going to make it easier. Knees straight, it's going to be harder. So that's how you bridge that gap between knee push-ups and regular push-ups, I'd say. Yeah, crucifix thing I was on about, yeah. But there's also a thing called, what is it called? Reverse iron cross. I think there's something that Athlete X went on about. It's similar, you just do it on the floor. And you're just basically pressing into the floor. So it's almost like a reverse push-up kind of exercise. Instead of it pushing your chest, you're pushing it off the floor, basically. So I think it was also called the body weight back widow as well. It's similar kind of thing, but they're going to work the rear delts and the upper back. But I tend to do face pulls just because I think they're a bit more of a compound exercise that train a few other muscles as well. You got a bit of arms like this and doing this kind of thing. Whereas with like, I mean, it's good if you're trying to just isolate the upper back, but yeah. From wall push-ups to like base side push-ups to knee push-ups to normal push-ups. Yeah, but in between knee push-ups, like I said, doing the push-ups with some level of cheating can be good just to bridge that gap. Bending knees somewhat as a way to like reduce the resistance. So you're not having to push off the floor as much. So it's just kind of tried a push up and crushed out on a, yeah, so just trying to make it easier to then, yeah. Right, so what we're doing next then, let's see if I can do a one arm hang. I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but yeah, we'll try it. Hang on. I'll just Oh yeah. Do the sun now. Yeah, we're getting better. It's the longest I've held that for. Yeah, getting stronger. It's good for grip strength. So if you're talking about hanging and stuff, I think one arm hangs are good because they're more challenging. Depends on how good your strength is, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully at some point I could get onto one arm pull up, but it's going to be a long time till I get on that. So yeah. Let's just see if I can do it at all. Like, oh fucking hell. No, it's too much body weight, guys. It's like you got people at like 60 kilograms, are literally like half my weight almost. It's like, try being my weight, you know? It's just way harder. But you know, at least we can kind of get to a point of gripping the bar with one hand. That's at my body weight of around 100 kilograms probably, but that's quite mad that. Yeah, I'm not overweight, but I'm a tall guy. So it makes a lot of exercises harder. A lot of calisthenic stuff, it's more challenging. Might try a tuck front lever. Let's just see how we get on with it. So just yeah. Oh. All right. I'm pretty good at like holding that static position, but it's like I want to get to a point of like tuck lever raises and stuff, and like move on to like full front lever at some point, but it's an uphill battle. When you're doing the tuck front lever, make sure that your arms are straight, because I did that mistake when I first tried it and like my arms were bent. I was also trying to do tuck front lever rows as well, but they are difficult. Let's just hang on, that was not right. Let me just right. Try to practice some skills there. Alright, phone, it's just not really the right angle, so I don't know what my battery's on, but right, it's not really standing up properly. Alright. Ooh. Let's try and do like the negative part of it. It is, but you gotta be careful, because I felt like I almost like went flying then. But yeah, one arm pull up are harder than one arm push ups. Yeah, definitely. I can just about do that, but it's just one arm pull ups are like crazy. And one arm push ups are probably more difficult than one leg squats. Because legs are like, if you think about like in terms of the amount of muscles that you have, also the amount of range of motion as well. Like for example, when you're doing a pull-up, the amount of muscles that you can use for it is a lot less than, say, like a squat. It's like when you're doing squats, it incorporates a lot of muscles and big muscle groups, I mean, that are, which means that you have to do more to stimulate them. You have to add more weight, or you have to do a more difficult variation of them. Yeah, it's all right. It's just, it's not ideal, but it's all right. I mean, I haven't really, because I don't really want to be coming out in shorts in this weather, so it's just kind of, I don't really have like, I should probably get some like different like joggers or something like that. Not really a big fan of joggers and stuff like that, but I used to wear tracky bottoms, but I just find them a bit chavvy and just kind of, they don't look great. I don't know. I actually used to hate jeans for some reason, but I gradually got into them. Right, time 9% battery, so got a little bit left, but I'm gonna need the toilet soon as well, so, but yeah. But I don't know if anyone's interested in like personal training or anything, because that's something I've been considering maybe getting into and doing a few sessions. I've got someone that I plan to do some sessions with at some point. He's talking about wanting to get into fitness. But yeah, Adidas, oh yeah, we're wearing Skechers at the moment. But yeah, I used to wear a lot of Adidas or Adidas, depending on how you pronounce it. But yeah, I don't know if you're interested, if you're looking into like any support on like getting in shape or anything, but like when it comes to like exercise part of it. But yeah, it's just but it's something that I've been doing for a few years now, pretty much. So I've been like a bit on and off really, but I've been pretty consistent for like well over a year now, and picked up a lot of oh yeah, pants. Oh yeah, that's it. I'm just walking around, just kind of like, what am I doing? It's because I need the toilet. So yeah, for some reason we tend to walk around like we like, but just to try and distract ourselves, or I don't know. But yeah, I'll just do a few more of the rows. So this is the body weight row. Just do like 1, 2. Yeah, anyway, oh, thank you for the 10 likes, everybody. Yeah, this is a pretty good amount. I might do some triceps as well. I could do dips, so try a few dips maybe. I was trying to do it from like a dead stop. It's very difficult. So what you do, instead of starting from the top, we start from the bottom. So that way we can really get like sort of, I'll try and show you what I mean. But what we do Oh shit, I just kind of, oh, for fuck's sake. I was literally trying to explain something then. So I was talking about exhaustion and how it's beneficial for us in reducing our anxieties and overthinking and stuff. Yeah, I just explained all that and it was fucking muted, for fuck's sake. God, it's so annoying, it just goes on mute so easily. So I was explaining about that. Someone on Facebook, I saw it put a post about fatigue and how that can be used as a way to talk about with exercise and why it's important. So yeah, that's one of the things that exercise can do, is get you more in that flow state. Get you more in that state where you just don't care about other people's opinions. You don't care. You just don't have the energy to care. The only energy you have is to just do what you gotta do. Because it's exhausting to worry about other people's opinions. So when you're already exhausted, you haven't got the energy for that. So anyway, I've got to get going, guys, because my battery is about to die. But yeah. So just yeah. But yeah, the flow state, yeah. Just try and get, you know, I tend to meditate after a workout or something and just kind of switch my mind off, but yeah, it's just but you can just kind of also use it as a time to just kind of focus on your goals, and you know, because you're just going to be a lot less worried about, oh, what if blah blah blah. You just don't have the energy to care about it. You're just kind of more in the moment, basically. So I find that exercise can help you meditate, and meditation helps you to enhance exercise as well. So there's this kind of like positive feedback loop between the two. I've realized that because when I've had a good workout session, I can just kind of chill out more and meditate, whatever. But then also meditation helps it, the effectiveness of the exercise, help improve recovery, helping me to be able to go longer and harder. Also improving strength and body adaptations to the exercise. I've been looking into a lot of this stuff lately and the numerous different benefits that it has. So I might be making some content soon about all this stuff, but on improving muscle gain, testosterone, things like that. I'm excited to start making content about some of this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff I feel like a lot of people don't know about, because they get so focused on all the bullshit, focusing on all these specifics of training, instead of focusing on it as more of a holistic approach to training and exercise and life in general. They're just missing the point, I think, a lot of people. And that's something that I'm going to start doing, I think, is addressing some of the issues that people have with, say, like, if they're finding that they're struggling to recover, and then there's a lot of things that they can do to help with that. But because it's all great if you're trying to get, do the training to work out, build muscle, but then, if you're struggling, your testosterone's low, your recovery capacity is low, then all that stuff is completely pointless, So yeah, it's just a complete joke, a lot of it, because it's like people don't even realize that it's just as important to get the diet right. Also, not just the diet, but also the just lifestyle in general, that making sure your cortisol is low, making sure that your testosterone is high, and things like that. Because what good is doing all this training if you're going to get lackluster results? You're just wasting your time then. They say work smarter, not harder. So you want to make sure that your recovery capacity is high. And also your hard work's going to feel good as well. When your testosterone's high, doing hard things is going to feel good. But if you're stressing yourself out, it's gonna make that worse. So anyway, I'm gonna get going, guys. Bye.